Hey everyone, this is Jonathan with Iron Forge Consulting Group, coming at you today with an after-action review of Definitive Training Solutions' Entangled Gunfighting course. Stay tuned.
The biggest question for today that I want you to think about, like while we're doing the class, is simply like, what kind of fight is this right now? There's a lot of people that think that every grappling fight turns into a gunfight, and there's a lot of people that think that every grappling fight never turns into a gunfight. And I think the truth is that they are usually very separate until they're not. And so the problem people run into, myself included, is trying to turn it from a grappling fight to a gunfight when it's not time to turn it to a gunfight yet. Whether that's legally or morally not time, or whether you're not, established that dominant position and you try to pull the firearm out and you realize that now it's a grappling fight with a gun, right? So one big question that in this course that I really want to hit home is this a grappling fight or is it a gunfight? The people that love to grapple think that everything's a grappling fight. The people that love to just do gunfighting stuff think everything's a gunfight. And the fact is, they are separate, and most of the time it's a grappling fight. However, when it's not, you have to be able to tell yourself, like, okay, now is the time to turn this into a gunfight, or specifically a shooting, hopefully. We're going to finish the fight, all right? Legally, morally, you're justified to shoot the other person, but...
As Zach stated at the beginning of the video, the focus of this course looks to answer several questions, but the single most important question is this a gunfight or is this a grappling fight? Being able to recognize this and then appropriately apply the 4 principles of entangled survival are at the heart of this course's purpose, and Zach does an excellent job of giving the students some fundamental tools to be able to address this type of situation.
Whenever we're grappling with someone in a weapons-based environment, if you will, the first thing that we have to do is, and you'll notice some of these are very similar to the 4 firearm safety rules. The first thing is we don't let the weapon cross anything we're not willing to destroy, right? So if somebody has a firearm or a knife, they don't get to cross that over my body, right? Or they don't get to muzzle me if it's a gun. And so the very first thing on the priority list is don't let them cross the weapon over anything they're not willing to destroy, which includes me. Second, you're going to isolate that limb that is controlling the weapon, right? So if someone's got a gun in their hand, obviously you're not going to let them point it at you, right? But you're also going to isolate that limb. You can isolate that limb with your hands, with your head, with your forearm, with your torso, whatever it is. But you have to isolate this limb so that person doesn't have control over where they're pointing it, which is going to violate that first rule. The third is simply to move to a dominant position. So the first 2 steps usually are done kind of at the same time, but this third one is kind of where the money's made. This third one is where you either know it or you don't, and this third one could take 5 seconds or it could take 5 minutes, right? So when we talk to moving to a dominant position, we'll talk more out there with the standing and the ground techniques. Moving to a dominant position can mean a lot of things. A dominant position doesn't always mean on top of somebody. It doesn't always mean behind somebody. But we have to get to a dominant position. And that 4th rule is just simply finish the fight, right? So that finish the fight can mean a lot of different things. It can mean, that you disengage. It can mean that you use some kind of force option. But the fourth principle is that you finish the fight.
Throughout the course, we were given foundational techniques that allowed the practitioner to gain or escape the dominant position, which is key to surviving an entangled fight. Zach would describe and demonstrate the techniques, and then we would consensually practice said techniques without resistance so everyone could get a proper feel for said technique. We would then pair up and everyone would attempt to apply the techniques during the drills against resisting opponents, with the drill being reset after one student would establish or escape that dominant position. This course is about being able to recognize certain circumstances and then transition skills mid-fight.
There you go.
Whether you carry a gun or are into grappling and combatives or some combination of both. If you aren't incorporating this kind of training into your regular rotation, you really are doing yourself a disservice. Definitive Training Solutions Entangled Gunfighting is a great course. It's approachable for the novice student, and it offers a different perspective for the more well-traveled student as well. One caveat to this course is that a student can't take training like this, leave the course, and then not practice the skills again until the next course they take, and expect to engage with any meaningful skill level. A student needs to be in the martial arts gym, on the mats, and sparring with their fellow students to really be able to internalize the skills learned throughout the course. I'll leave you with this. This was my second time taking Entangled Gunfighting, and I feel like I learned just as much on my second time as I did my first time. I tried some different things during the final scenarios to see if they'd work and didn't exactly get the results I was looking for. What that comes down to is being paired with an experienced training partner and ultimately me not applying the principles of entangled survival in the manner I should have. That led me to pay for the mistakes that I made during those scenarios, with a pain penalty, in fact. Lesson learned about why there's an order of operations during an entangled gunfight. Be sure to use those principles of entangled survival. This has been Jonathan with Iron Forge Consulting Group. Remember, be harder to kill, train more.
Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. The way the techniques will go down is we'll drill them, which means consensual. And since a lot of you in here have met Tim Morris, we're going to go over the definition of consensual again.